Number 1. Classic Deadpool, Earth 616. Let's begin with a baseline. Wade Winston Wilson from Earth 616. This is a Deadpool most people know. The mouthy mercenary with a healing factor that makes Wolverine look like a sickly grandpa. Originally introduced in New Mutants number 98 as a villain, Deadpool quickly evolved into a fourth wall-shattering anti-hero with a god-tier tolerance for bullets and bad decisions. His powers include rapid healing, superhuman agility, and a pain tolerance that borders on suicidal. He's the guy who charges into gunfire just to see if he can walk it off, and usually does. Mentally, he's unstable. He knows he's a comic book character and regularly talks to readers, his narration boxes, and sometimes the writers themselves. Visually, he's instantly recognizable. Red and black tactical spandex, twin katanas, and enough explosives to violate the Geneva Convention. Ryan Reynolds' portrayal is basically a carbon copy, down to the cancer-ridden skin and non-stop sarcasm. But behind the humor is a man who's been tortured, broken, and rebuilt into a sentient wrecking ball. He's not just funny, he's terrifying. A clown with trauma, blades, and absolutely no filter. Number 2. Kidpool, Earth 10330. Kidpool is what happens when you compress Deadpool's madness into a child-sized time bomb and then give it swords. Hailing from Earth 10330, he attended Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters until he got expelled for detonating a stink bomb inside Cerebro. That's right, he gave the world's most powerful telepath a brain fart. He's got all the sass, blades, and unpredictable energy of his adult self, just packed into a hyperactive preteen with zero impulse control and a high tolerance for explosions. While his healing factor isn't quite as potent, the chaos is fully weaponized. He even wields lightsabers in some stories, because of course he does. Kidpool eventually joins the Deadpool Corps, where being the most immature member is an achievement, not a flaw. Surrounded by variants just as deranged, he somehow becomes more dangerous. This isn't a toned-down version. It's Deadpool before regret, before filter, before reason, armed with sharp objects and sugar-fueled anarchy. Number 3. Dogpool, Earth 103173. Yes, there's a dog version of Deadpool, and yes, he's every bit as chaotic as you'd expect. Dogpool comes from Earth 103173, where a shady cosmetics company tested a skin regeneration serum on a stray mutt. Instead of dying, the dog healed, and then healed again, and again, until he couldn't die. Now armed with a healing factor, a red and black jumpsuit, and more bite and bark, Dogpool becomes a four-legged mercenary with a slobbery grin and a love for carnage. He doesn't talk, he's a dog, but somehow his expressions, growls, and perfectly timed leaping attacks say everything you need to know. He eventually joins the Deadpool Corps, where he either rides on other members' shoulders or charges straight into enemies like a furry grenade. One minute he's gnawing on bad guys, the next he's accidentally detonating explosives with his tail. Dogpool is what happens when you mix weaponized adorableness with immortality. Think Scooby-Doo if Scooby had drama, a kill count, and an endless supply of sarcastic barks. Number 4. Headpool, Earth 2149. This is Deadpool reduced to his most essential parts. Literally just a head. From Earth 2149, Headpool comes from the Marvel zombie universe, where most heroes are undead flesh eaters. After getting decapitated, Deadpool's zombified head somehow survives, regenerates, and keeps talking, of course. He doesn't have arms, legs, or a torso, but he makes up for it with sheer mouth power. He floats around via a propeller strapped to his scalp, latching onto enemies with his teeth like a rabid drone. And yes, he spreads the zombie virus with every bite, turning his victims into even more chew toys. Despite being just a rotting airborne head, Headpool remains wildly aggressive. He's loud and somehow more focused than his fully bodied counterparts. He's also a key member of the Deadpool Corps, often arguing with other variants mid-flight or crashing into enemies just to prove a point. Think of him as a horror movie volleyball with anger issues and a taste for human flesh. Number 5. Lady Deadpool, Earth 3010. Wanda Wilson, also known as Lady Deadpool, is the gender-swapped version of Wade from Earth 3010. But don't call her a clone, she's her own brand of unhinged. While she shares the classic Deadpool package, regeneration, dual katanas, a mouth that won't quit, Wanda adds her own flavor of defiance and fury. She comes from a world torn by civil war, where an authoritarian government led by a twisted version of Captain America crushed dissent. Wanda didn't just join the resistance, she was the resistance, slashing through propaganda with sarcasm and sharp steel. Her costume mirrors the original, but the silhouette is leaner and long blonde hair flows from the back of her mask, adding just the right mix of warrior and wild. She's just as explosive in combat as Wade, but with a slightly more focused edge. Occasionally, she acts like the responsible one among the Deadpool Corps, though that's like being the least drunk person at a demolition derby. Lady Deadpool isn't female Deadpool. She's the person who punches fascism in the teeth while making it look stylish. Number 6. Pandapool, Earth TRN 312. Pandapool is exactly what it sounds like. Deadpool, but as a genetically altered berserker panda from Earth TRN 312. This monstrous mashup lumbers straight out of the Deadpool Illustrated series, where reality is already on life support. His origin? Light on details. His impact? Anything but forgettable. Imagine a panda with a healing factor, samurai reflexes, and the personality of a caffeine-addled lunatic. He's decked out in a red and black harness stretched across thick black and white fur, armed with claws that double as cutlery and fists that hit like trucks. Pandapool's idea of diplomacy is throwing someone through a wall twice, just to be sure they got the message. He fights as part of the Deadpool multiversal army, where his brute strength complements the team's general insanity. Unlike a typical Deadpool, Pandapool doesn't talk much. He growls, charges, and mauls, like a kung fu nightmare that skipped the meditation part. Think Kung Fu Panda, if Poe dropped the dumplings and picked up a flamethrower. Number 7. Venompool, Earth 90211. Venompool is what you get when Deadpool bonds with a Venom symbiote, an unholy fusion of impulsive madness and primal hunger. From Earth 90211, he first appeared in What If, featuring Deadpool, and he's exactly as dangerous as he sounds. Visually, Venompool looks like a mutated beast, his red suit stretched by black, ooze-like armor, jagged teeth, and a tongue that practically has its own zip code. He's massive, muscular, and grotesque in all the right ways. Powers? Overkill. Deadpool's healing factor plus the symbiote regeneration makes him nearly unkillable. Bullets, blades, explosions, none of it sticks. He keeps coming with a grin and a quip soaked in someone else's blood. Mentally, he's even more fractured. The symbiote and Deadpool argue constantly in his head, turning his already erratic behavior into a chaotic circus. It's like listening to a podcast where both hosts want to murder each other and everyone else. Venompool is the worst part of both characters turned up to 11, and somehow, he still works. Number 8. Zenpool, Earth TRN 336. Zenpool comes from an alternate timeline during the Axis storyline, where Deadpool's morality was inverted. Instead of being violent and unhinged, he becomes disturbingly peaceful and calm. He ditches the guns and swords, replacing them with compassion, logic, and an eerie sense of serenity. Clad in white and red robes, Zenpool fights with restraint and strategic thinking rather than chaotic violence. His new personality unsettles everyone around him. Nobody expects Deadpool to talk things out. Even heroes aren't sure how to handle this meditative version, who seems more monk than mercenary. What makes Zenpool fascinating is the suggestion of who Deadpool might have been without the trauma and insanity. He's effective, unnerving, and somehow more alien to his allies than the violent original. It's Deadpool without the madness, and that's what makes him truly strange. Number 9. Deadpool the Duck, Earth TRN 208. Deadpool the Duck is what happens when Wade Wilson fuses with Howard the Duck during a teleportation mishap. The result? A small, feathered, psychotic waterfowl in a red Deadpool suit, armed, sarcastic, and dangerously unhinged. Despite his cartoonish size, Deadpool the Duck packs serious firepower. He retains Deadpool's healing factor and fighting skills, combined with Howard's grumpy cynicism. He waddles through explosions, wielding guns bigger than his body, and never misses a chance for a quip or a quack. What makes him so bizarre is how seriously he operates in situations that look like Saturday morning cartoons gone wrong. He's a pint-sized powerhouse who'll mock you, shoot you, and then blame the feathers. Number 10. Dreadpool, Earth 12101. Dreadpool is Deadpool without a moral compass. Fully self-aware, unhinged, and bent on annihilation. In Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, he realizes he's just a fictional character trapped in a cycle of violence for readers' amusement, so he snaps. He kills everyone. X-Men, Avengers, even the writers and artists behind the comics. He's colder, more calculating, and stripped of humor. No jokes, no quips, just slaughter. Visually, he resembles the original Deadpool but darker, with sunken eyes and a sinister presence. He's the horrifying answer to the question, what if Deadpool stopped laughing? This version is a meta-nightmare, a character aware of the cage he's in and desperate to burn it all down. Dreadpool isn't just a killer, he's a statement. When the fourth wall breaks and there's nothing funny left, all that remains is someone who knows he's not real and wants everybody else to feel it too. Number 11. Deadpool Pulp, Earth 90214. Set in a gritty 1950s noir universe, Deadpool Pulp trades superpowers for a Cold War spy thriller. Here, Wade Wilson is a mentally unstable ex-CIA operative haunted by a fractured psyche and violent past. No healing factor, no katanas, just a trench coat, a pistol, and a pile of unresolved trauma. His red outfit is replaced by a fedora and blood-stained tie. He navigates a world of espionage, betrayal, and paranoia with the same unpredictability we expect, only now it's more psychological than physical. Pulp Wade is driven by hallucinations, PTSD, and fragmented memories, making him dangerous in a far more grounded way. It's Deadpool without the mask or the jokes. Think of this version as Deadpool filtered through a Raymond Chandler novel. There's still madness, but now it smokes cigarettes in the rain and carries a dossier instead of grenades. Number 12. Cowboy Deadpool, Earth TRN 254. Cowboy Deadpool is what happens when you drop Wade Wilson into a spaghetti western, complete with a cowboy hat, boots, spurs, and dual revolvers. This variant dishes out frontier justice, Deadpool style. He rides horses, hijacks trains, and duels mutant outlaws at high noon without ever dropping the wisecracks. He still has his healing factor, meaning shootouts never go quite as planned for his enemies. He might be full of bullets by the end of a saloon fight, but he'll be laughing through the pain and probably ordering whiskey with a straw through a bullet hole. Visually, he's all tumbleweed and trigger fingers, with a red scarf and dusty leather duster replacing spandex. The attitude's the same, but the setting makes him even more unpredictable. He's part cowboy, part chaos engine, and 100% the kind of outlaw you'd want to avoid on the open range, unless you enjoy being hog-tied with dynamite. Number 13. Galactipool, Earth TRN 342. Galactipool is what happens when Deadpool inherits the cosmic power of Galactus, the devourer of worlds. He doesn't just break the fourth wall, he annihilates it with a supernova-sized punchline. As a godlike entity, he consumes planets while cracking jokes, turning apocalyptic destruction into stand-up comedy. Visually, he's absurd, a massive red and black Galactus helmet, a flowing cosmic cape, and a hunger not just for worlds, but for chimichangas. He's rarely used in the comics because he breaks narrative logic. When Deadpool can rewrite reality and vaporize heroes with a cosmic burp, the stakes evaporate. Galactipool embodies the peak of multiversal insanity, unstoppable power fused with a child's sense of humor and a mercenary's thirst for mayhem. He's the final boss of absurdity, capable of ending universes while quoting memes. He doesn't save galaxies, he roasts them into oblivion, one cosmic punchline at a time. Number 14. Deadpool Dinosaur, Earth TRN 681. Yes, Deadpool exists as a dinosaur, a red and black velociraptor named Wade from a universe where dinos rule the Earth. He's got blades strapped to his claws, a healing factor that shrugs off bullets, and Deadpool's exact personality, just in prehistoric form. He communicates telepathically thanks to multiverse shenanigans and still delivers quips like a caffeinated stand-up comedian. Imagine Jurassic Park with more swords and less logic. Despite being a raptor, Deadpool Dinosaur keeps the wisecracks, the pop culture references, and the chaos intact. His claws are deadly, his healing near instant, and his attitude unchanged. It's not just the idea of a talking raptor with a healing factor, it's that he still acts like Wade Wilson, even in a world of thunder lizards. He's proof that Deadpool's madness transcends species, timelines, and evolutionary charts. Number 15. Evil Deadpool, Earth 616. Evil Deadpool is a Frankenstein-style monstrosity stitched together from Deadpool's discarded body parts, arms, legs, and organs that regenerated and were later assembled by a deranged fan. The result? A chaotic clone with no moral filters. He shares Wade's healing factor, combat skills, and unpredictability, but none of his conscience. While Deadpool flirts with morality, Evil Deadpool fully embraces destruction. He sees the original Deadpool as a failure, too sentimental, too restrained. His body is a visual horror show, mismatched limbs, exposed stitching, and patchwork scars. He looks like a rejected science experiment that somehow got up and walked out of the lab armed and dangerous. Unlike Deadpool, who occasionally saves the day, Evil Deadpool is a walking embodiment of everything Wade tried to suppress. He's what happens when you take the merc with a mouth and remove anything human behind the mask. Number 16. Deadpool Corps, Multiverse. The Deadpool Corps isn't just one version. It's a multiversal disaster team made up of classic Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, Kidpool, Dogpool, and Headpool. Their mission? To protect the multiverse using the worst possible tactics. They travel in a spaceship shaped like Deadpool's head, which pretty much sums up the tone. It's chaos on every deck. Each member brings their own brand of insanity, making every plan either genius or a full-blown train wreck. Their strength doesn't come from strategy, it comes from being so unpredictable that enemies don't know what hit them. They don't follow orders, they improvise, explode, and somehow come out on top. Imagine the Avengers if every hero was armed with knives, one-liners, and zero boundaries. That's the Deadpool Corps. No team in the multiverse is louder, messier, or more dangerously effective. Sometimes by accident, usually by force.